everybody for bearing with us on this new change in scenery. But the stories are continuing and the inspiration is flowing through all of us. And I'd like to call upon Justin Sandler, if he's around.
I'm right here.
There you go. So Justin brought his entourage with him and saved the best to the last. But everyone is number one and a king and a queen if you want. So Justin had germ cell tumor and underwent an tandem. Did you go through a tandem transplant? No transplant at all. Fantastic. So this is another individual with revolutionary therapies have been able to succumb the disease without having gone through the transplant, but just through great therapy. So I'll hand it over to Justin so he can share our story. And then after that, we have a beautiful video to present to all of you, and we'll therefore follow it up by our reception. And thank you again for your understanding. Justin?
Thank you, everybody, for joining us out here in the cafeteria at the auditorium. It's all good. We're still going to have some fun today, right? All right, let's get into this, all right? I got a lot of stuff to share. So the drums were my first love and my longest art form. When I was a kid, I dreamt of being a rock star drummer. I think we've heard a similar story with Stevie this afternoon. But I made that happen. I turned pro, recorded albums. All right, I played in TV and films and toured the world. And you know, I was playing in several projects, still headlining a lot of big shows, and things were going well musically in the beginning of 2017. Actually, a lot of things were coming together at this time, or so it seemed. A few years prior, my acting career got its jumpstart when Matthew McConaughey gave me my first film role. And then I found success acting in several national commercials, and I still had one that was running into the early part of 2017. I had opened a studio with my wife, Mary Lou, and we produced our first original film, Welcome to Where You've Always Been. That premiered in March 2016, and we did a 21 award-winning film festival tour, which ended in February of 2017. That also happened to be the same month that I started doing the Gold's Gym 12-Week Fitness Challenge and started playing in a weekly flag football league. I felt faster, stronger, in better shape than I had in years. You know, I felt like I was allowed to take my life and my career to the next level. I started declaring that I am ready. I literally said it. I am ready. I am ready! And then I got cancer. This entire time, while all this was going on, I had a very large and aggressive tumor growing right here into my heart. Thanks to my SAG insurance, I was already seeing doctors in the UCLA system. Saw my primary, Dr. Janice Ravato, in February of 2017. I had a pain in my chest. I mean, we didn't figure it was that serious, but she had the foresight to order up a CT scan. But I felt fine in a day, and honestly, I thought it was just muscle-related from all the activities, so I opted for physical therapy. Well, on April 15th, I got sick, really sick. It felt like the flu, but worse. Plus, it felt like someone was kneeling on my chest while I was trying to breathe. After 3 days of nonstop feeling like this, my wife and my mom kindly, gently encouraged me to get the flippin' CT scan, Justin. So I did on April 19th. And then I was promptly called back into Dr. Ravato's office to learn of my newfound mass. I was referred to the one and only Dr. J. Lee, cardiothoracic surgeon at UCLA. And he ordered up a slew of tests, which took me 2 weeks to complete. I got my diagnosis on May 4th, a cancerous germ cell tumor. It was almost 14 centimeters long, stuck to my heart, and then I was immediately referred to the amazing oncologist, Dr. Alexandra Drakaki, or as I call her, Dr. B. She laid out the treatment plan, and it was terrifying. But honestly, she was one of my biggest cheerleaders and right by my side from day one. Within days, I was basically living in UCLA Hospital Santa Monica on 4 Southwest. I got my port installed and began doing round-the-clock chemotherapy. I was on 3 different types of chemo, lived at the hospital for a week at a time. The plan was to do 4 week-long rounds of chemo in order to kill the tumor so that Dr. Lee could go back in and perform an open chest surgery to remove it. Everything happened so fast. It was confusing, it was disorienting. I already felt like a lab rat from all the testing. And now I was about to start an insane treatment plan. I shifted my focus. I went deep. I had to. I had to make new decisions, and new realizations. I didn't choose my cancer, but I took responsibility for it. I wasn't to blame for it, all right? I was taking responsibility for the situation I was put in and for my choices. I certainly had a choice to how I would react after I got my diagnosis. I chose to embrace my cancer. I could have easily made the choice to be the victim. That's a role I wasn't let's just say I was no stranger to. But at this defining moment, I chose to be the victor. I chose to love my cancer and free it rather than hate it or fight it. You know, people would say, kick its ass. Go to war with it, Justin. F cancer. I'm sorry, but that just didn't resonate with me. I don't think violence is really the answer to anything. And really, when was the last time anyone wanted more? In my body, we're a growing collection of cells, just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Despite lying dormant since birth, they were awake now, and according to their watch, they were way behind schedule. They only knew to do their job, and they just, like the rest of us, wanted to survive. So I couldn't portray hatred or negative energy as something that was part of me, that was inside of me. I chose to accept my situation. I gave gratitude to my tumor. I held space for it. I hugged it. I talked to it. I told it I loved it. I called it my mentor and the greatest gift I ever received. I coined the phrase, embrace cancer, love cancer, free cancer. And that became my motto. Now, going through cancer taught me more than anything ever could have, but I have to be honest. I also had to endure pain and suffering like I've never experienced before. The chemo was not easy. Sometimes it was brutal. And being hooked up to an IV pole 24 hours a day can be both very challenging on the body and the mind. So there was also times where I felt guilty. For many reasons, but particularly while I was walking my rounds on the hospital floor, working my hardest to survive. I saw others who weren't as fortunate. And I got to know others who never made it out. I felt guilty that I didn't have enough cancer. You know, I knew that I was going to walk out those hospital doors, and that some others weren't. But I made it to the end of my chemo. My tumor was ready for operation. I was in pretty bad shape at the time, and the side effects were no joke. But it was a success, and surgery was scheduled. Now, the day I got home from my final round of chemo, with a heavy, foggy mind, I wrote a poem and somehow was able to shoot it and record it. It went something a little bit like this. I float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Those 4 rounds of chemo ain't got nothing on me. I'm back here at home, resting finally free. A hospital is no place that I want to be. I'm grateful, not hateful for my cancer journey. The lessons I'm learning, the new things I see. Yeah, it's really hard, I'm feeling beat physically. But the benefits are too strong philosophically. I'm happy, I'm healthy. I'm here, Dr. Lee. Dr. D, my oncologist, says I'm good for surgery. What say you take this tumor right out from thee? And let's show the world how to fight properly. Embrace cancer, love cancer, set cancer free. I love you, and you love me. Thank you, guys. The following weeks, though, they were extremely hard. The effects of all that chemo had finally taken its toll on me, and I was suffering. Oh, so badly I was suffering. I had a lot of anxiety as well, looking up to that big surgery that was just a few weeks ahead. Well, as it turned out, my surgery got postponed a few times. Hours after my pre-op blood work, I got an alarming phone call asking me to kindly head to the ER immediately. My blood counts had gotten so dangerously low that it wasn't safe for me to be out in the street. I mean, I guess that's what happens when you suck down 60 bags of chemo. So I got to spend more time playing vampire with other people's blood. And that would actually be the last night that I stayed on 4 Southwest of Santa Monica UCLA Hospital. So it wasn't safe to do the surgery until my counts got up. And we kept retesting until they worked. On August 4th, I checked in right here at UCLA Ronald Reagan, and Dr. Lee and his fantastic team opened me right up and went to work. The tumor was stuck to everything. From what I heard, the surgery was intense. In the end, I lost a part of my right lung. I had my heart patched up with Cortex. My superior vena cava was rebuilt with bovine tissue. So no, I'm our cow. But my tumor was also successfully removed, and the surgery was a success. But the 2 months that followed in recovery were absolutely insanely difficult. There was certainly a few low points where I actually, well, let's just say I questioned if I wanted to live. There was other times where I asked if I was even worth saving. This was all part of the plan, though. It was facing myself, my mortality at its truest and rawest level. It was seeing myself bald, skinny, pale, looking like I lost a sword fight. It was realizing that with every obstacle I faced, I was presented with an even bigger opportunity to grow, to help myself and to help others. That allowed me to go even deeper, realizing that I had emotionally closed off my heart many years ago. And I'm not all that surprised that a tumor grew into it. And this is kind of how I took responsibility at an even deeper level. Again, not taking the blame, but seeing how I might have unintentionally contributed to it. And once I realized that, I had a chance to heal even more. This was embracing on the deepest level. We thought my journey was done in November, but I didn't feel right on an emotional level. And then my heart didn't feel right. I was referred to the very wise cardiologist, Dr. Anuja. He ordered up an echocardiogram, which I had on December 16th. Within hours of that test, he was blowing up my phone. Uh-oh, more alarming phone calls after a test. Well, he asked me to kindly and quickly immediately head to UCLA Ronald Reagan ER. They were expecting me. Apparently my heart was collapsing under a liter of fluid that was in the side of the cell. They rushed me into an OR and they had to drain my heart. I remained in hospital for a week, and then Dr. Lee and his team came back again and we had another surgery. We had to cut a pericardial window at the bottom of my pericardial sac. So now I guess you could say that my once emotionally closed heart is permanently open. I got out of the hospital just in time for New Year's 2018, and I've been in recovery ever since. And it was really hard for the first several months. It still can be hard at times. But I'm getting there, and I'm starting to improve all the time. Oh, by the way, I am officially still cancer-free. Thank you, guys. Quick little update, by the way. Well, I'm not ready to go to full-time work just quite yet. I am inspired to do a lot. And we are moving forward. That little festival film I mentioned earlier, we did release it on Amazon Prime. Mary Lou and I got to pre-production on 2 new documentary films that we're going to shoot. I got to act already in 2 new feature films myself, and I just developed a one-man show, which as of this week was accepted into Solo Fest, so it'll be up early next year. Yeah, I'm writing a book too, why not? And I'm back at Gold's Gym every day. Not quite ready for the football field yet. But stay tuned on that one. So before cancer, I declared I was ready. I finally understand what that means. Now I surrender to the present moment and all of life's magic. I am open to the adventure that waits, and I am so grateful for my journey. You know, I had never spent a night in a hospital, ever. And in less than 8 months, I spent 45 nights between the 2 UCLA hospitals. Let me tell you, I was blown away by the amazing human beings that work in these places. The care partners, doctors, the maintenance. And last but certainly not least, my nurses, who will forever have a special place in my heart. Especially my oncology nurses. Those are some special human beings right there. And since I'm up here, I gotta just quickly send some extra love to Dallas, Jillian, Laura, Mary, Maria, Patty, Sam, I know I'm forgetting some, and then Paul, the angel up in ICU who took care of me on the night I was brought up for my surgery when I was at my most vulnerable and helpless state. I'm so grateful for all the love and the care that I received from everyone at UCLA. I could not have done it without it. I was also blessed to find support and healing modalities from places like Police Mart and Beauty Bus, and I am eternally grateful for the overwhelming love and support I got from friends, family, spiritual communities, and extra special loving gratitude from my parents, my wife, and caregiver, Mary Lou. To those who have gone through cancer, to those who are still going through it, I continue to chant for you every day and send healing light your way. To the caregivers, I know you are often overlooked, but please remember, you guys are amazing and so appreciated. By embracing and loving my situation, I gave myself the best chance to survive, while setting myself up to benefit the most. My newfound peace has finally allowed me to free my cancer, and with it, my old stuck energy. And while it's great that this experience changed my life forever and for the better, I also realized that I don't necessarily need a major illness to have a life-changing experience. I mean, I face obstacles of all sizes every day. We all do, all right? With each one lies our decision as to how we will face it. With each choice is a chance for us to grow. And every time we grow, no matter how big or small, it's a benefit to ourselves and to those around us. So remember, the next time you face any obstacle, big or small, you just gotta say, embrace love and free is the only way to be. Thank you guys.